and welcome to the League of Legends Classic LCK Legend Match. We are here, and I'm sure you can hear the old music. We are back in time. And speaking of that, of course, I am Valdez. With me today is LS, aka Low Standards. How are you doing today, LS? Good to have you back.
Doing fantastic. It has been 6 years, and so truly it does entertain the Classic experience, as we're going to see the LCK Classic match kick off here and take a trip down memory lane.
Yeah, that's really the whole idea. We've got the old intro back, which I recorded, which was really cool. Obviously, we have all the old players that are going to be the legends for today. We have League of Legends Classic, obviously. I think this is how it's all coinciding with this for League of Legends Classic. It's just an awesome time to be alive that we can go back in time and relive the old days where we used to play League of Legends back when we were younger.
Yeah, and honestly, today there are some indeed legends that are going to be playing in this match. We're going to be going all the way back in time. We have even a world champion playing, obviously, in the match here, and I'm curious to see what they're going to end up drafting and how they're going to approach the series, but here's going to be the format.
Yeah, so today we are going to have 3 games, regardless of what happens in the first 2. So technically a best of 3, but we're playing all 3 games regardless. And the last game is going to be blind pick, like the old days. And side selection was won here by Nadzency CJKT. And we are going to have an MVP for each game. The final MVP will be awarded a monitor from LG Ultra Gear, so thanks to them. If you're new to League of Legends, you might not recognize a lot of these champions, but I do encourage you to go play League of Legends Classic because you'll learn a lot about the way things were.
Yeah, the way that things were once upon a time. So we're going to have all these available champions. It's going to be 2 bans per team, so not quite what it is nowadays. And so even though there is a restricted roster, there is still a lot of open possibilities for team compositions, and some champs are entirely different than they are in modern day League, and I'm curious if we'll actually see any of the players' star champion picks that they used to have way back in the days. And you'd be really surprised what ends up happening.
Yeah, so side selection here, they're taking the purple side, by the way.
Yep.
It's no blue side.
Yep.
It's purple or red. Blue or purple rather.
Yep.
Yeah.
Used to be that back in the day.
Yeah. So it's so cool. Like, they're doing literally everything down to the T, down to the tiniest little detail.
And so purple side will have counter pick available to it, as we're going to head now into the pick ban here. So let's see what they're going to opt to open with.
Yeah, 2 bans, and then you go into the picks. And this is the old draft music as well. Yeah. So the opening music was the same. The draft music is the same.
We'll see what they are considering. Do you still have 30 seconds to make the choice? As, okay, Gragas going to be the champion first banned away here on the side of Samsung SKT.
Yeah, Gragas has gone through a lot of different metas, a lot of different builds. You know, obviously there were, in the past, used to play AP, do a lot of damage. His cask could, like, blow up the backline by itself.
Yep.
Oh, here come the rest of the bans. Alistair, Vayne, and Evelyn. So it looks like Piglet is not getting his Vayne.
Not going to get the Vayne. Evelyn also taken off the board. Evelyn very strong in the past. So much chaos able to be there, as Lee Sin is being hovered and locked in, so we're not going to get Insect having that Lee Sin.
Well, it's not Fearless, at least.
True.
So there is a chance in the next couple of games, especially blind pick game 3,
yep,
where he will get a chance to play that.
Corki now is being hovered.
Oh, Corki Sona.
Corki Sona just going to get instantly locked in.
That's a bottom lane.
Yep. A bot lane that nowadays, if you selected this, Twitter would definitely have some words to say about blind Sona, as this is one of the punishes that used to exist way back in the old days, and it's still true today. Blind Sona, lots of different ways to punish it. Blitzcrank is one of them, as Twitch now being hovered. And Nidalee is going to be locked in. So this is probably mid lane Nidalee, which interestingly enough, is one of the most iconic mid lane champion picks. It is one of the champions with Faker's iconic kill on Ambition.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people have even seen that clip just because of how famous it is. And looks like maybe Kuro's going to go back to tried and true Anivia, although he switches to Rise rework number 11, as Freak put it. And Skarner, old Skarner, you see a champion, you press R. He is impaled.
And right now, the scaling on the side of Najin CJKT is absolutely massive. Rise, however, way back in the day, is also quite an early game bully. Has the wave clear, has the ability to move, do a lot of types of things. It's not the Rise that people would know today as, okay, instead of answering the Sona with, oh, that's going to be top lane Lulu with Blitzcrank. And so they are trying to do a hyper Twitch comp. And this is where the names like Juggermaw and whatnot were kind of birthed way back in the day, where all your eggs are in the basket of the hyper champion. And that's what they're opting to try to do is Tristana now.
Oh, Pantheon.
Ooh, Pantheon.
Covered. And this is a pick for Magnoon, and that is going to be locked in. So he called for that specifically. You saw him on the camera there. He's like, no, give me the Pantheon. So that's going to be the choice into the Lulu.
So Pantheon, very interesting on the top side. He is able to function on his own. This is the point-and-click Pantheon that sets you up for lethal very fast. Has the point-and-click stun with the W. Looks for lethal ranges. Lulu has to be a little bit careful inside of this lane, but Pantheon probably going to be a little bit on an island.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's going to be really fun to get into the lanes and try to remember like how all the different matchups work. I'm sure you know you're already talking about the Pantheon and the the Lulu in the top lane. This sign, I'm just trying to read it at the same time. I think she got eye surgery today, but she came and is just listening.
And Macnoon showing that he has all of the rune pages ready and prepared. He's building them. So, okay, so he opted for 9 AD runes.
Yeah.
Has the magic resistance, has the flat armor.
And these are the talents masteries. Yep. So he has gone for 21-9. That's kind of standard.
21-0-9 here on the Rise. And we'll see what they're going to end up doing inside of the game. They are on the timer because the Twitch from way back in the day, it is, to try to put it lightly, hypers were way scarier back in the day because of how little everyone could really do, but also how explosive their damage would come out because durability patch isn't here.
We're not playing on that one. By the way, that the girl who had the eyes covered, that was a parody of the old Lee Sin cosplay. And a fan sign in the past where the sign just says, I only determine the game by the audio, and just wears a blindfold, obviously. That's an old Freaka jersey for Spirit, signed by Spirit.
The old Rox Tiger. I actually have 2 of those, Rox Tiger jersey.
Oh my God.
And we have a Gorilla fan here.
Yeah, we have 2 of the Tigers, right?
Yep.
Gorilla Kuro.
Yep.
Just trying to make sure I don't miss anyone. Yeah.
So they're just doing their rune setups as they're going to head into the game. And remember, back in the day, it used to be a lot harder to acquire runes.
Oh,
and you had to make sure that you had the right ones in order to pick inside of Champ Select. Things were very different back then.
Yeah.
As wow, an old Samsung Galaxy jersey being brought out here. And this was after
That's
the
after
initial exodus that saw Korea lose a lot of its top players to the LPL.
It's like 2015, 2016?
2015, yeah.
Yeah.
Massive exodus that hindered the LCK a little bit. Obviously, SKT went on.
Yeah. Some of the players here went to LPL, as this guy wants to see Shako.
Shako, no, or not.
Come out.
Awada? Yeah.
I mean...
Shako fan. Shako, much better back in the day.
I still don't think we're going to see it.
I don't think so either.
This is a Mad Life fan sign. Hashtag CJ win. Yes, Mad Life used to be on CJ. Antis.
Fan sign on the right said the 80 that does not die, as now we're just taking more of a look of all of the fans here. We have a Kuro fan there. Looks like row E3. As Lee Sin fan here, very front row. And, okay.
This is basically like, this is so nostalgia. So nostalgic. He remembers the sights and sounds of the old stadium. Obviously, we're in a new stadium, which I think was brought in 2018.
Yep.
I want to say.
This is a Pawn fan sign. And Kuro is forever. It's the very bottom of that. And this is going to be the final lineup now after the swaps. And this is what we talked about and anticipated. So we have the top Lulu, Lee Sin inside of the jungle, Nidalee in the mid lane. And then you have the Twitch down there trying to get the Hyper online. And so the beatdown is actually going to be the other team.
Yeah,
A little bit of a fight here.
What are we doing here? He's not showing it the right way. Let's look at this, the old intro as well. Top lane Looper versus Magnoon. Spirit versus Insect in the jungle. It's funny, LCK was on a couple of days ago. We had Skarner versus Lee Sin. That's like the meta right now, is Skarner's like into Lee Sin. Oh man, even after all these years.
Twitch versus Corki. And Blitzcrank versus the Sona. So really important to pay attention to the bot lane because the volatility of bot lane and the nature of the win con being that Twitch. I expect a lot of focus for the junglers to be on bot side, which is what makes the Lulu versus the Pantheon so scary up in top. And here we go. We're going to get started. Probably going to have a Blitzcrank invade.
Of course, the fan chants that you hear every day at the LCK, they were birthed back in the day. And level 1 invades were a real thing for a long time, actually, after this time, but especially with the Blitzcrank coming in here, but kind of the counter invade from the side of Nods and CJKT.
And take a look at what some of the players are doing. They're actually opting to not fully utilize their gold. In the event that something would happen on the invade, they can be greedier on the item purchase. And this used to be a real legitimate thing that they do, but this ward gonna spot out Magnoon.
Oh no, not like this. Is this how he started? He's going right for Captain Jack. Can't dodge that one, but the immediate flash, his reaction time is still there. Good stuff from the captain.
I really like that choice. They didn't elect to instantly just queue onto the Pantheon, who would then recall, run to top lane anyway, and so it would sort of defeat the purpose. The Lulu's already going to be up there as, okay, wait, no. Gonna have another...
Oh, yeah, he's going to try the bull, but he missed. And yes, the blue buff used to have these little, tiny little dudes that used to hang out with him. That was removed in like, I want to say like 2018, 2019. It's hard to remember exactly. As, yeah, this is...
Ooh.
The jungle used to be hard, by the way. He might die here. Oh, so close! Calculated! And he hits level 2 off of that.
Hits level 2. Lee Sin looking for a 2-camp gank here. This used to be very common back in the day. As, okay, Spirit. Gonna get chunked out. Rise hurts so much.
It's crazy the damage he does. And the poke out of the Sona in the bottom lane. By the way, I love how all the players, they have kind of the teams that they were on back in like 2013.
Yep.
I want to say is the year.
And take a look at what's happening. A modern day freeze being applied. And it used to be way stronger back in the day. Riot only recently, a couple of years ago, implemented the change that makes freezing a lot more difficult. He says, I did it.
It was close. I'm glad we got the replay of his reaction to that moment.
Meanwhile, in mid lane, Rai is still very healthy, has that Sapphire start. This used to be totally normal.
Yeah, Sapphire start, and also you used to have to buy potions, so you could buy mana potions as well as health potions. And here comes Hart. He's still level 1, by the way, Trying to gank the mid lane. Kuro does have his flash. Look at how much damage Nidalee does. As Kuro will be forced to flash away. That's a nice early flash there in mid.
Kuro forced to flash away. This is the timing where Looper could be susceptible to a gank. Remember, it's just point and stun. Uses the Glitter Lance, ends up not hitting on Pantheon, so Pantheon a little bit more healthy.
Yep, here comes Insect. Going in for some damage. Glitter Lance again onto Magnan, which means that he's just, okay, Flash is into range as the targeted spear hits, but Spirit was up on the top side of the map, and another Glitter Lance hits. The Flash is there, but the Q lands, and down goes Insect. First blood to Spirit, and maybe second blood as well. Magnan, no real way to get out of this one. Just tries to trade 2 kills, a double to Spirit in the top lane.
Spirit ends up getting it. He's going to end up assisting with the push, and this was a very big break for them as we immediately look down into bottom. Gorilla very low on his monopool, but it's going to be totally fine. They have that giant minion wave there. Piglet really bleeding on his HP. A really good control being displayed by Captain Jack and Gorilla. You did not have stuff like this back in the day for lane manipulation.
Yeah.
As we take a look at the replay, and you can just see Looper does this really well. Hits the Glitter Lance, slows Macnoon.
Looks like they got a hook in bottom lane. I mean, Flash is down here on Gorilla. Not sure exactly how that happened because Hart didn't have his Flash. And yet, they're able to get the kill here. And actually, it's his exhaust that he used. So Gorilla did hold on to his Flash. I think probably just got burst down.
They're going to get that wave in. Corki not going to be able to hold it. As we're looking at the jungle, Lee Sin finally going to do his reset as his camps are respawning. And remember, rubber banding comeback EXP way back in the day, as we're going to take a look at what happened. Oh, he threads that needle.
Let's get this guy in the current LCK. That was a crazy hook. Just understanding like the hitbox of the minions and stuff. It's crazy. Like, I don't know exactly how much Hart's been playing nowadays, but he's definitely got the old touch still.
It's Macnoon shoving the wave up into top lane. There's the double D ring. The passive used to not be unique. Used to be able to stack multiple. And so Lulu in a really good position right now.
Yeah. Chalice here for Pawn, which, oh, this is a very nice hook angle. But he doesn't go for it yet. He's going around.
Yeah, he's going to look to see if Skarner might end up actually being here.
Crazy angle. And just a little bit too opportunistic, I would say. I think if they just stayed in the river brush, probably would have found an angle.
Cast going down by Twitch. Now proximity of the minion wave means that this will eventually unlock. So all things are going to be fine there. Lee Sin kind of playing how the junglers used to play back in the day, looking for these early game ganks, looking to try to manipulate something for his laners. As Looper forced to use his ultimate. Macnoon also now has level 6. Now, back in the day, sometimes Pantheons wouldn't skill their R at level 6. They would keep putting points because they're just trying to endlessly look for lethal. Yeah.
And, I mean, I don't know how much lethal he's going to find, especially being put behind and against a Lulu. But, you know, maybe if the Skarner comes up here, maybe if Insect does go there. As Hart is looking for the play now. He's going to get the knock up here on a Gorilla, trying to get the flash out of him. And the flash comes in, but Spirit follows anyway. Spirit is right back onto the Rift with 3 kills already. Pawn now. Gonna have to go Cougar and go over the wall. Just elects to flash. And does get away.
Wants to flash there, still has a lot of sustain inside of the potions, doesn't want to immediately get chunked out, have to reset. He has that Chalice, which is available as, okay, Insect, gonna be spotted.
Yeah, trying to go for the timing on the red buff spawn, so nice there from Insect. Dodges the spear, which was blind, but kind of understood that he would be there. Hart trying to figure out if he is here. And now the knockup comes in, and all of a sudden, Insect in a bit of trouble. The kick is there, and one spear would end it, but he misses it. And now the Rise getting some damage in, picks up a double, immediately traded back as Pawn will pick up the red buff and the kill.
And so Pawn picks up the red buff and the kill. Insect just narrowly able to escape there. As we're going to take a look at this kill from moments ago. Hart just runs in really standard. Sona has the flash. And so I thought that was beautiful. It looked like it was a 2-for-1 hook attempt. Lee Sin able to follow up, and so if Corki got hit there, that would have been a very big win. Spirit tries to come in here, doesn't have his E available because he had just finished clearing the red buff camp, and so Insect very fortunate there, otherwise it was a 2 for 2.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of a very aggressive trade that was taken, even though Spirit was very low. Spirit does end up dying. Has his Brutalizer online, though, so he's going to be doing some insane damage. And one thing to note for the top lane, by the way, guys, Magnoon is having a little bit of trouble dealing with all the poke. This is the way that AP Lulu used to work, where it's like you get hit by a Glitter Lance, and it's not just, oh, I got slowed a little bit. It's like, oh, my health bar just got chunked for 20%. Like, oh no. I guess I just don't get to play the game. And here's Heart and Piglet in the top lane.
Yep, and lane swap is happening. And remember, there's not the old type of turret resistances that used to exist. So lane swap here being utilized to try to get the Twitch into that open mid game where things become a lot safer. Magnoon first forced to flash away there. And they're doing this to open up the map. They're trying to make it so in a world where Herald, Void Grubs, these things don't exist, Dragon Soul, Elder, you want the map to just be opened up so that there's less variance that's possible in terms of objectives that you want to capture. And this wasn't a concept that really started to be grasped and understood until almost the early 2020s.
Yeah. Well, it's insane how long it takes for, ooh! That was very close. If that hits, he dies. He does have barrier and flash, by the way, so Captain Jack very much expecting not to get hit by that. Knowing the ranges very well of the Nidalee Spear. And, I mean, it's a great point you make, especially because it's very important to get Piglet more online. He is still behind about 22 CS on the Corki that has just kind of been left to solo in the bot lane. So, gotta catch up, gotta get that Switch online, otherwise this comp not gonna function all too well as the game comes along.
And that's why they're trying to do these lane swaps. Now, back in the day, bot lane would go from bot lane to mid lane, whereas modern day, you have bot lane go to top, is the typical thing. And that's because of the evolution of mages in mid now. They can wave clear, they have Lost Chapter, and back in the day, it was harder for the monopools in order to be kept up without that second blue buff. And so they've planted Twitch here in mid. Junglers are just continuing to clear. And if you're wondering why isn't there more obsession about the Dragon, well, it's because it's not giving permanent stats. It's not leading towards an inevitability endgame. It's just gold.
That's it. You would get an advantage. You take the Dragon, you get gold. Sometimes your jungler would just, you know, take it, you just get gold. And it wasn't as big of a deal. That hook is insane! Heart is on fire tonight! Big Sono, though the turn comes in. Pawn has to jump away. And all of a sudden, got a close fight in bot lane. Here comes Insect, gets the pull. The Impale is there onto Pawn, and they take out the Nidalee. The ramping damage from the turrets, not a thing. Everybody's super tanky, it feels like, compared to the current times. As the TP comes in from Looper, he is going to get the kill. And again, this Lulu does damage, so you got to be careful.
Yep.
Especially if he gets in...
Flash.
Yeah, he's going to flash on in, hits the E, and it's easy pickings there. Gets the kill on a Captain Jack. And even Insect... Oh, nice little wave for Spirit to get in. Gonna hit the Sonic Wave on the minions, but Old Skarner very fast.
Old Skarner very quick, able to get away there, has the mobility boots as well as soon as he's out of the combat. And meanwhile, Kuro, he's continuing to power farm. He is level 10, has the tier, has the catalyst. Take a look at how this all started. This was a beautiful hook here onto Captain Jack. They just barely can't see in that fog of war. Crescendo comes out, really nice double stun. A lot of damage going out. Obviously, Insect waiting for the minions to hold that aggro. Just runs right past. He has the mobility boots. Movement speed can't really be challenged. Okay, Magnoon.
Yeah, he's in trouble this time, especially with the Nidalee right on top of him. Insect is here, but alone. Not going to take the 1v2. And unfortunately for Magnoon, this top Pantheon not really getting much value, especially compared to the 2-0-2 Lulu from Looper so far. And Spirit's just going to take some gold.
Yeah, and Spirit, I mean, it's global gold.
Yeah.
So the entire team gets a lot of gold.
Yeah. It's just not what you would expect.
It's a minion wave, pretty much. Or almost a cannon wave would be more accurate. and then you don't know when it's coming back up until it ends up spawning. So you have to actually manually look at the timer that you take it at. And you had to do this for all the camps back in the day.
Yep. Nowadays, it's like you just look at your mini-map.
You hit tab.
Riot's got a little, it's got a little, what is it, an hourglass there for you, so you know exactly when it's coming up. You can hover over it, see the exact timer. Yeah, we used to have it hard back in the day. Stationary scanners as well, by the way. Doesn't follow the champion. Hard is on the run, and he is going to get away. Blitzcrank pretty fast. He does walk straight into the Rise. Not sure about that. Flash is away. Has to follow Flash, does the Rise, and now we get a hook coming in onto Spirit with the Impale, and that's 2 kills all of a sudden over to Najin's CJKT.
Yeah, and that's very big. Kuro getting more and more fed. Rise is going to be one of the champions that's able to contend with the Twitch in the later stages. Rise used to be really funny in that he was an early game bully that had late game hyper damage potential, and it just didn't make sense because he was also a tank. Sort of like what Warren used to be once upon a time.
The Mage, Warlock,
the Mage, Warlock, Death Knight, Assassin, Warden.
That's an LS classic. I'm glad we're bringing back all the classic memes for the classic match.
And we see how this initiates. Just a little bit too close to Kuro. Piglet doesn't have the ability to free deal here, doesn't have Lulu. Ooh.
And yeah, unfortunately, Nidalee, if you don't hit the spears, it doesn't do a whole lot. So you better hit the spears. If you do hit the spears, big boom boom damage, as we already mentioned.
Yes.
There's one. That was like right next to him. He already did 20%. Helps with Looper getting in there, doing a little bit of burst.
Now Baron is up and available. Not going to be something that you just expect to see taken quite immediately. Is something that can be snuck later on. As Spirit is going to move in here, has a level advantage.
As the Wriggles Lantern for his item from the jungle. As now the hook is going to come in. Insec is in a bit of trouble. Again, he can't go through walls, so that's going to be the end of him. As now trying to tank up for Pawn, who does get a little bit of help. Spirit has to go in, doesn't quite land the kick. Not sure what happened there. Hops over to Hart, who's able to taxi for his Lee Sin.
Yeah, okay, instant hop away. Very close to just being able to do that. Insec onto Captain Jack, but not quite able to, I guess, mechanically input it. Looper doing a type of freeze. Now the lane's going to entirely reset. He's going to look for his own reset as the gold score, it's only about a 2,000 advantage.
Yeah, I mean, it's a relatively close game so far.
Yeah.
This was a pretty deep invade from them to steal the red buff.
A little bit of a late reaction there from Insect, seeing them on his screen. And so he comes in, and take a look at what Spirit does here. He does the Q, and let's see what... Oh, he lost vision of the bush, and so it canceled.
That's very unfortunate.
Yes.
He wanted to be the Insec. He does not do that, trying to flash behind Captain Jack and then kick. And I almost said KT because of KT Insec, but Najin, CJKT, as a team, I do like how they're kind of counter-pushing into the enemy jungle. We just saw, you know, Spirit and Heart going and taking the red. They're kind of attempting to do the same thing as, here we go, Pantheon ult, and the Impale comes in straight into the open arms of Magnoon as there goes the Twitch. He goes invisible, and they're not able to lock him down.
Yeah, Twitch goes completely invisible there, and Pantheon just doesn't have the damage. If you look at his inventory, he has the Ionian boots, has a brutalizer with the longsword. He's just not quite dealing the damage yet, and Skarner back in the day wasn't a damage dealer. It's primarily just a really heavy tank.
Yeah, with, of course, the big ult, which, you know, you tank, you lock someone down, that's your job. That spear was pretty close there on a Gorilla, but he does not get hit by it. Has the Sight Stone already, and a pink ward, which is why we call it a pink ward. Piglet in a bit of trouble, did not expect Magnoon in the bush, as he played the Rune Kings and does get away with that slow. As now Magnoon stuck in the bush, he's going to go down as Hart here, 1v4 in the enemy jungle. Not sure how he got caught there, but it looks like a little bit of Rise gameplay.
And so they end up getting a turret. Gold score staying relatively even. As, yes, Twitch picks up another kill, has that Blade of the Ruin King. The Rise almost has his tier fully stacked. We can take a look at this. Macnoon trying to set up for a lethal, but again, you can just see the inventory, it's lacking. This is the old Blade of the Ruin King active. So having the animation for it. Piglet goes a little bit too far, but it doesn't matter. Ultimate comes out by Looper just to be safe, and here it looked like Spirit and Heart were trying to kill Insect. Not quite able to.
Yeah, instead just got Flash Sona ulted. Nice play from Gorilla, catching the enemy support. Mid lane turret going to go down 2, so it does feel like Samsung SKT are, you know, catching up in that manner. They are actually ahead 1 turret. The top turret is still alive here for them.
Dragon now coming up. It's going to be immediately taken. So again, about a cannon wave given to every member on the team in terms of just pure gold.
Yep, saw the gold there jump for everybody.
Yep.
As our wonderful observers are able to show that. Also jump about, you know, 1,050, 1,100 gold, I think it is. It's a decent amount, maybe a little bit less for everybody picking up that gold. And we're just kind of back to farming. I mean, if you're Samsung SKT, you're just trying to get Piglet into a good spot and not face check bushes against Rise like Hart does. The Baron is up and available, by the way. So we'll see what they go for, because Insect is coming over here, but they're not necessarily committing to it.
And they have Sona, so it's a lot easier for them to do it, especially once that Rise gets his second item and Corki. Kuro gonna come up here. So these are the stages of the game where freezing could be good. We're obviously not seeing it.
Yeah.
Not gonna bring out the F word right now, but you know, had to drop it at least once.
I understand. You know, you get a little bit frustrated. You let the F word slip.
Yep.
It's understandable.
Exactly.
We all get it. Looper gonna get impaled here, and Captain Jack, trying to put that damage in, but Spirit here trying to peel for the Lulu, who with the Wild Growth is relatively tanky. As now over the wall. There they go as the root comes down on the Spirit, though. But now Piglet looking for the spray and pray and already getting huge damage, but not able to get more than a couple of autos in. So a little bit anticlimactic there for the Twitch.
Not wanting to overextend, committing his flash for only a couple of kills that wouldn't translate into anything as Macnoon rotates into mid, clears that out. And so a pretty close call, but the gold lead has extended. We're at 4,000 now, Valdez, as we still have 4 minutes until that Dragon's going to end up coming up, but all champions now here are just waiting for their second items to really come in as Rise, speak of the devil, he ends up getting his, and this is what I mean about the freezing. Yes, okay!
Wow.
I was crucified once upon a time for pointing things like this out, but
yeah,
it's fine. We're here now. We can see the future. We come as time travelers.
We have the technology.
We have the technology.
We understand.
You understand now.
It just
and so that lane's locked off, and you can see what's happening because the overall modern-day knowledge of the game for all these players, they realize, hey, you can't just do Baron. There's no objectives up. We're just going to entirely delete a wave from the game, and there's nothing to do.
Yeah. It doesn't feel good for Looper, who was kind of just hanging out in the top river doing nothing while he waited for Kuro to eventually push that back. Bit of damage did go in there. Flash forward from Hart, but he doesn't land it. And now Looper, he shows up in top and just gets burst down. And Insect is so fast, Shirelia's over, and all of a sudden, Flash on top. And Looper with the crescendo gets a heal on in from the Nidalee, and all of a sudden, Looper's totally fine. And they're looking to turn this fight around. Piglet coming on up. We got a 1v1 here between Spirit and Macnoon, as that Sonic Wave not going to land. But the fight is still on. Piglet getting some autos in, forcing the flashes away. Insect is being burnt down by the poison, and the Flash already hits the hook on a Kuro. 2 kills already. Macnoon is in the bush, hoping they don't find him. Although he's trying to burst down Piglet and do a little bit, but he did not have lethal, not even close.
He insta-used revive, though. He's trying to come in. He has that grand Skyfall. And so where's it going to go?
He's just trying to follow up.
Oh!
Immediately the hook comes in, but I think that's just a peeling hook because they're just doing the Baron.
Yeah.
They're
trying
on the
to do
Baron right now.
Yep. Oh my lord, McNoon taking a lot of damage. Gorilla's here, but out of mana.
Yeah, McNoon is alone here in the 1v5. They just turn off the Baron, take him down, and it looks like they were going to recall after that.
They're not going to try to go for the Baron. All their HP very, very low. They're going to reset and just really take the advantages here as we see how this happens. So back in the day, the R not canceled if you time the CC correctly. And so Insect trying to run backwards with his team. They stop to hit the turret, and honestly, that gives Piglet the necessary time that he needs to get there, get on top of everyone, and another beautiful hook from Hart. As McNoon really overestimating his damage here.
Yeah. I mean, he used to be able to sit there with the E and do like insane amounts of damage, so he just QEs and hopes that he can chew through the Twitch's health bar, but only doing about half in the span of, you know, a second. So fair enough, but by himself, not enough. But you mentioned the revive. He comes in here a little bit over-aggressive by himself and just dies. But stops the Baron, I suppose. So there is that.
And there is the Trinity Force in the inventory for Corki. Interesting item choice here as QSS. Oh my lord.
Yeah, that's one spear, but one impale.
But another spear.
Oh.
Nidalee has that death cap.
Yeah, they're just like attempting to get any sort of vision, any sort of control in their own jungle, and yet Spawn can just chuck spears in there and just say, well, you don't get to be here. You don't get to be in this bush. Trying to ult in onto Looper, but Pawn is right here, so I don't know about this one, McNoon. Okay, looking to turn it around. Maybe it was a bait all along with the Rise, who is pretty big at this point. 5 and 2 is Kuro. And the rest of them are able to get away, but a nice little swing here towards Najin CJKT.
And this is so fascinating to end up watching. It's a 4K gold deficit, but honestly, it doesn't look like that. Which, back in the day, if you used to have a 4K gold deficit, teams used to say that the game would be over or that you'd be really far behind, but clearly, time traveler knowledge here, able to play in different ways.
Oh no, Kuro's dead. I think he is going to do a lot of damage here on the trade. Nearly takes out Piglet, but yeah, I mean, Hart, you know, sometimes his positioning a little bit over-aggressive, but his hooks are kind of crazy.
And so the game constantly just getting reset over and over in terms of tempo and pacing, as Dragon now going to be on the agenda for Samsung SKT.
Getting the wardage down, McNoon says, take me with you, and the hook on an Insect. He's pretty tanky, though. Do they have the damage to pull through? And I think eventually they do with all the slows from the Lulu. It's just kind of disgusting what she can do. Has a Lich Bane, has Magi's as well, so Looper's going to start doing some big damage soon.
As they move over now, Baron is going to be on the menu. McNoon does have that Pantheon R, but at this stage of the game, the Baron's going down very quickly. Not going to be any possibility to steal. Sona trying to hold down the fort in mid lane as the carries. They're going to try to move out on the map. Baron, very scary in Classic.
Yeah. The design is quite frightening, I do agree. Here's the hook.
Yep, the hook just goes down onto the Rise. And he tries to dish out as much damage as he possibly can, but it's just not quite enough. And then McNoon caught fishing. For what? I don't know.
Yeah. He gets caught, and then he's just kind of standing there with his E up. And just dies.
Yep.
Baits Insect, too.
야, 이게 바로 삼성 갤럭시? 연계봐라 이거.
This is Samsung Galaxy. Is essentially what he said, with a very fun accent.
I like what Piglet was doing there. He's not immediately shoving the wave. He's trying to synchronize it, and this is what you had to do back in the day.
Yeah.
In order to coordinate the Baron pushes is okay.
And just go invisible and kill the enemy AD carry, I suppose. Captain Jack flashing away, but it's not on time. And even with the barrier, you're not going to help out. The hook is insane again. Getting Gorilla, and the crescendo just goes wide. McNoon gets baited in. And all of a sudden, Samsung SKT are on the push in mid lane.
And they're trying to go for the end. Hook's going to come up, and okay, flash out by Gorilla.
I love the old camera zoom-ins as well. It's so awesome. I feel like I'm being teleported back in time. And now Kuro's here. He's going to try to clear the wave.
Yep. And these turrets do not respawn.
They don't respawn and they're super weak. Gorilla's gone.
Oh!
Look again! Hard is insane. Get him on a pro team already. Insect being chipped away, and this game is over. 28 minutes, no problem. No way to defend the Nexus here. And that will be first game going over to Samsung SKT. We did expect this team to be the favorite as they're having fun. Will they throw at the last moments? The answer is no. Hard's hitting the Nexus. Down it goes. And it's 1-0. Years old. My older brother taught me about League of Legends and talking about, obviously, the players that were playing back then. Slooper. Very cute. Magnan does not look very happy. He didn't have the best game.
그렇게 한번 볼게 이거.
아, 저기 있다.
건너.
여기 이거. 미드.
잡았어.
이야. 아이 잘한다. 미드 갈게.
나 픽실 있어.
미드로 갈게. 소나까지 끊었어. 빠졌고.
죽여버려.
온네.
나야.
이대로 가도 끝나겠는데?
끝내자.
가자. 보여주나?
형 꿈을 펼쳐봐.
플래시는 어쩔 수 없어. 잘하신다 근데. 상대 못 빠졌어. 딜러들.
일로 몰라.
나 이제 다 있을 것 같은데.
카너는 다 빠진 것 같기는 해.
궁 없어. 아직 궁 없어.
크레센도 없다. 나 쏘나 볼게.
계속 봐. 노플. 라이즈. 또다 끌었어.
뭐야 형. 야 형 뭐야.
뭐야?
죽여버려.
창. 딜주작. 킬날. 그래 하나 더 형 뽑아봐. 그래.
뽑아.
그렇지. 각도는 좋았는데. 왜 죽었어?
일로 와 캡틴 잭.
나이스.
트위치 노플. 와우.
왜 이렇게 잘 끌어? 아니 이거 끌리는 각이네.
잘 끄는데?
그러니까.
잘 끄네.
하나 그렇게 약하네 그냥.
보여줘.
They will take it seriously as here are the damage numbers and some of the gold. The KDA.
Jungle Gap, if I've ever seen one, that's exactly what, that's how I'm reading this as Nidalee. Doing number one, obviously a lot of spears were landed in this game, and Twitch obviously catching up, especially towards the end. We saw the damage threshold. What is really surprising is the Blitzcrank actually did a lot of damage. He landed a lot of